Hello. I can't hear you.
Okay, now I'm good. You're on the right screen, so I'm facing you and doing all the things right.
You've done well. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm very good, although it's freezing in Sydney.
Oh, really? It is humid and disgusting here already in central Queensland. So,
Well, thank you for doing
yeah,
this. I was so excited to share your
no,
story.
that's okay. That's okay. It's pretty cool. It's very cool.
It's a very cool story.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe who you are and what you're doing and where you were before you came into our life and things
Yeah,
exploded?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I had been coaching for about 18 months before I actually joined the program. I have spent 20 years in the community sector, so working in mental health, disability, child protection. So that obviously came at quite a cost. I turned 40 2 years ago. Yay for being in your 40s. It's a pretty awesome stage.
Great
I
state.
know, right? And I turned 40, and then within 6 months, I had breast cancer and had lost both of my breasts. And that was kind of a massive cosmic kick up the butt to go, it's your time to choose you. Stop doing everything for everybody else. Stop working and slogging yourself all the time. It's time for you. It's your turn. So that's kind of where I ended up in coaching because I wanted to help with other women to not actually get to the same point that I did. So they didn't have to lose themselves, face a chronic illness, have their life splattered in front of them, that
Yeah.
mortality stuff, before they had to, before they decided to change. Because I saw the cost of working in the community sector because it's hard work,
Yes.
you know, and I wanted to be able to support women who were in that space. So yeah, so I work predominantly with women in the community services sector to who are burnt out, who have lost their voice, lost that mojo and that fire in their belly, to create balance so that they can thrive and so that they can like live. And then because the more that they live and give to themselves, the better they are in the jobs that they do and the bigger the impact within their communities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such important work. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your story with everyone because wow, like you think you turn 40 and like, okay, kids are kind
Yeah.
of sorted at a level and then wow, that must have been full on for you.
Yeah, and my whole identity, like I hid behind these beautiful big breasts my whole life and all of these things, and then like they were gone,
Oh,
and so I had to really redefine who I was as a woman as well because I wasn't able to have children. So no children, no breasts, no uterus, none of those things that actually society defined you as a woman. And I refused to get reconstruction because my body was struggling as it was. So for me, I didn't see the option in putting something else in my body to create more inflammation. So I chose not to. So it was adjusting to, oh wow, I'm no longer an hourglass,
yes.
heavy pair.
I'm a pair too. I've got little boobies and a big butt.
Yeah. So it was like all of these things and how I defined myself had to change, and they did change. And I had to work really hard at this new version of me. And it's really cool and it's exciting. And yeah, I want to share it.
It is really cool and it is really
Yeah.
exciting. And we're glad that you're
Yeah.
sharing it. So how did you come into our world? Like how did you even find real entrepreneur women or what were you struggling with or what were you searching for that you didn't have? Do you remember?
So I had been in other coaching programs and I felt like I was being drip fed information every week. And I had to wait till my next coaching call to actually get what to focus on next. And I'm a big picture thinker. So I'm like, I already know what I want to invest in 2 years' time for my business, for me to grow into my business and what that looks like. So being drip fed little bits of information didn't work for me. I loved how when you spoke, it felt like you were talking to me. Like it was like, oh my God, she knows me. She's like my best friend. Like, and I just really connected with the rawness, the authenticity, and you've actually made it. That's the other thing for me. Like I wanted to invest in somebody who was successful, who was further along the journey than me, who actually had made it work through the steps that they had taken. And then I love the vault and the idea and all of the support that came with it. And I paid more for less, you know? So it was a really easy decision. And I actually, the week that I think I signed up, I had no money because I had been flogging myself in my program as well. So I was not charging enough. So I had lots of clients, no money in the bank, and I knew my program was worth more. However, I didn't know how to do that and take it to that next level as well. I had already made 100K in my business in the first year. So I was kind of doing lots of things. However, I was burning myself out and I ended up with shingles like and all sorts of things, and I was tired and I was a slave to this business, and I didn't become my own boss to work more hours and to lose the life that I wanted to create and the balance, which was riding my horse, spending time with my family, gardening, that really earthy, that stuff that makes me me. And I was losing that because I was just working and working and working. And I was like, this lady said she doesn't work as much as me. I want to know how, you know? And then it's actually, I suppose, reframing it to realize that when you're not working in the business and you're investing in you, you're actually investing in your business because you are healthier, more focused, more creative, more nurturing, more balanced, all of those things. So, like Fridays now, I'm going out to the local art. It's in nature and doing sculpting on a Friday because I can, you know, and because it feeds me, which means it feeds my business indirectly.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. So you've really
Yeah.
transitioned from having like a lot of clients but low income, right?
Yes.
Because there's only so
Yes.
many hours in the day, right? And then how do you think, I guess, with our support of the program, how do you think that we've been able to help you to make that transition? Because people just think that they have to just do more and more and more versus actually working smarter, not harder. Is there any
Yeah.
a couple of little nuggets you could pinpoint on?
Yeah. I think that there's so much stuff. I think one of the key things is really getting to map out what is your program. So I had my 12-week program on offer. However, when I really mapped it out and I broke it down and I looked at the value of each of those things that was in there, then that really helped. It also, the work that I'm doing in the background so that I can service more people in less time through doing a bit of a hybrid model rather than just doing one-on-one coaching, because that gets a bit old quick.
It gets old for you, right? Because because
And
you're
it's
starting to see like every
exhausting.
client, like you would just see the same client, same issues, same
Yeah,
problem. But on the other side,
yeah,
you said that you've actually been in coaching programs yourself. And when you're waiting for that next session in order for you to
yeah,
progress, like that's frustrating for someone who's got big goals and
yes,
wants to run, right? So it
yes.
works
And
not only for you,
sometimes,
but for the client too.
yeah, and sometimes you have weeks where you have more space and time to be able to spend in that space, or to be able to have snippets here and there and to be able to pull from that. I love also the support of the other women in the group.
Yeah.
Like it's a really safe, nurturing space where you can be vulnerable and show up messy or celebrate your wins or whatever. And then sometimes the coaches kick your ass, like with love and kindness and compassion. but they call it on you as well, because it's like, come on, then this is you like getting in the way of you.
Yeah. Because we want you to get what you want, right? And those fears,
Yeah.
the blocks, and the beliefs come
Yeah.
up. And so how good is that to have someone there that can see them and in a safe way, like help you to move through that?
Yeah. 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 And it's everybody is the same but different in the journey as well. Like we're all working towards the same thing, and having people to support you while you're clunky in finding the language for lots of people, because everybody's at a different stage. Some people haven't even sold anything yet, and they're just starting, versus I've been doing it for a little while. However, how I've been doing it doesn't work for me and it doesn't serve me. So we're all kind of in it together at different stages, and still refining and getting clearer on our message and cheering each other on.
Yeah, it's a great space. Well, so what
Yeah.
has your results been? Because you've only been with us for what, not even 2 months?
Yeah. I think I'm 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks in. So yeah, so in my first week, basically, I got 18K worth of sales. And that was simply shuffling all of my old clients over to my new programs and working from my existing pool of people, because I had like 10 different things on the table that were like, it was so hard to keep up with, versus, okay, cool, ladies, and let's jump over to this. And this is what it looks like. And then this is what's next after that. So they were like, oh my goodness, yes. So I tweaked it a bit depending on what program they were in, to what they went into, like what they paid and that sort of thing. But it just meant that I could transition everybody over. So we're all in the same space. So it was making it easier for me. And then it also meant that they could actually support and nurture each other, because there's something beautiful about a group process for processing together, and that they hold space for each other and they create growth that not even sometimes I'm blown away by the support that they give each other. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like they're doing better than me in life, and they're achieving all these things. And I have to be really humble and go, okay, cool, that's awesome. But sometimes I'm like, they seem to be having more wins than me. And that is fabulous. However, they're like holding each other up and nurturing each other and connecting. And it's just beautiful. And it does take a bit of pressure off you to be there all the time. And if
Doesn't
you
have to be the
create the
Mellissa
right
show,
culture,
right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and everybody honors that and holds space for each other, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. So 18K in the first week. Have you ever made 18,000 in a week?
No, I've made 18 in a month.
So
So yeah,
how's that feel?
that was amazing. It was like, holy shit, this works. And the potential and the self-belief in regards to not how do I simply just have to do more of this.
So you got the plan now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have it forever, right? When you've done the Wealthy Woman Mastermind stuff, like you've got the vault.
Yeah.
So you've got that backup all of the time there.
Yeah. So what's next for Mellissa?
Oh, what's next for Mellissa? So I'm really embodying the process. I think I've spent so much time in courses learning things. And I think that that's something that we keep getting sold in programs. Like you have to learn more, as in qualifications. We need more pieces of paper behind us. However, we actually need to take the action and do the work. And I just withdrew from like a $20,000 training program, because I was like, no, I've got the skills and the knowledge that I need. Now it's about applying that and building that and making it come to life. So it's really about embodying 20 years of community services, all my coaching wisdom, and my own life's journey into really making a masterpiece of a program, because we build and they will come, right? Like that's really that belief. And then I see myself on a farm, so all of this builds to a farm that means that I can nurture my family with aging, disability, all that sort of stuff. I can work from home. I can play with my horses more, so it's more balance for me is probably a big part of it. And then adding layers of spirituality and then embodiment so we get out of our head as women. Yeah.
Some powerful lessons there. You probably don't need to buy any more courses. You probably know enough, ladies. It's just about repurposing that and bringing it all together and embodying it, so that you can have more balance, right? You don't have to overgive yourself in one-on-ones and be burnt out to prove that you're enough. There are other ways that you can do this.
And I think there's courage in saying, no, you're not the right client, or you're not the right fit for me. Like I've had a few calls lately and they've not panned out because they're my old client group that would have paid the small amount of money, and some people just don't show up. Like they can pay and they don't show up. So, and I was like, no, actually my service is worth it. So trusting that it's okay that those clients actually are not ready yet, or you're not the right person for them, and trusting that the right ones will come and they will invest in themselves and see your worth and the worth of the program that you're offering and the change that can make for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, trust, because when you're creating a hybrid model, you're also creating this beautiful culture within your clients. And so you don't want to have a whole people there. Who cares if they can pay for it? It's about protecting the culture of what you're doing too. So any wise wisdom to anyone who might be watching this right now from you?
I think it's about taking action, like that messy, like that imperfect action. Just do it, because I have sat in courses with women who have done the same stuff and they still haven't had a coaching client 2 years later because they're not taking action. And I think part of taking action, and you can I even watch my older sister do it as another businesswoman, and she makes clothing, so a very different type of business. She struggles, and she is, because she's not reaching out for help. So the trick is actually to invest in the programs like yours and to invest in this so that you have the resources and the tools and you can get there in half the time, a quarter of the time. Who knows? But why struggle for 5 years or lose your business when you can actually invest in getting the guidance and support and the tools and the resources that you need to get you there? Quicker, easier, in a supported, nurturing space.
Yeah, right? Without stressing yourself. Yeah, it was like, absolutely, and without stressing yourself out like to the max too, right? There's learning parts. Sit down, talk. There's learning parts of it, but it's like, when you have a pathway there, you just have to trust the path, right? And then take the action. I love it. I love it. So much wisdom from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything else you want to say before we do wrap up?
No. Thank you. Thank you. Join Sophie.
One of my team, she's so funny. We had a live event and then she's like, Sophie the president. So we have this ongoing joke in the team now. It's quite funny. Thank you so much.
Country, but that's okay.
Right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing your journey. And I can't wait to see what, like, it really is just scratching the surface,
Yeah.
So bring on the farm, bring on the more playtime with the horses, and bring on deeper transformation for your clients and a hell of a lot more money in your bank account.
Oh, hell yeah. All of those things, please.
Yes, please. Bye, ladies. Come join Mellissa. She's got lots of fun, and she's just one of the beautiful women inside the Wealthy Woman Mastermind, waiting to welcome you with love. Let's go. Thank you, Mellissa.